Welcome back, everyone. It is Sunday sit-down time, and this week we got KSHB 41 sports anchor Aaron Ladd joining us virtually from Kansas City. Aaron, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for making some time for us. OTAs are in the books. I mean, can you feel the excitement building for September 5th at Arrowhead?
It seems like, first and foremost, Kyle, thank you for having me on. Always good to be in Columbia, if even just virtually. It seems like the world champs, just never get any time off. They go straight from the parade to the White House, now to OTAs, ring ceremonies coming up as well. It's been a busy offseason, OTAs included, but they're looking to do something no team has ever done before, and that's win 3 in a row.
Absolutely. It has been a very eventful offseason, just with everything that's gone on, and based on the interactions that you had with the team and seeing them out at OTAs. You know, how good of a job do you feel like they've done at kind of blocking out the distractions and staying locked in to go after that three-peat?
I don't know, man. This offseason has been different, and Tom Brady made the rounds kind of being asked about how difficult not only is it to win 2 in a row, but try and do this three-peat thing that no team has done before. And he questioned just how difficult it can be from an institutional standpoint to be able to keep everybody on the same track and focused on the same goal. And think about this, Kyle, like, there was a shooting at the Super Bowl parade. There was a stadium tax vote that failed in their favor. Rashee Rice had his incident in Dallas. Then there was a myriad of other issues with some players here locally. In addition, now there was an incident with a medical emergency happening during a special teams meeting. It sounds like B.J. Thompson's going to be okay and on the right path to recovery, but this is a lot to overcome for what's supposed to be downtime, what's supposed to be time to get rookies involved and get them up to speed on how they do business here. But what this team is tasked with now, as far as trying to win this third one, is a task that maybe they don't even know if they're ready for yet, with just how much they've accomplished on the field, and that's spilling off the field with good and bad consequences.
To go after that three-peat, I mean, the wide receiver room is going to play a big role in that. At OTAs so far, what have been your thoughts about that unit so far and some of the guys they brought in, and also the competition, since that's a unit that's looking to take a step forward this upcoming season?
It's the time of the year where we talk about the Chiefs wide receiver room. It's been that way since I came over and covered the team in 2020. It seems like every offseason, the Chiefs front office is focused on getting Patrick Mahomes as many weapons as possible in that wide receiver room. And there was even an addition this week, Kyle, with bringing back Mecole Hardman, who, of course, caught the game winner to seal the overtime victory over the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas just in February. It seems to me like there's a bubble as far as the back end. There's probably like 4 guys that are locked. The back end we're talking about now are the Sky Moores of the world, Kadarius Toney. Nico Remigio is a guy who's flashed in training camp for Kansas City in years past. We know KC is going to have to carry an extra wide receiver to deal with what Rashee Rice may potentially be getting as far as consequences and discipline from the National Football League. How does that affect the rest of the team? Does that mean they lose a lineman that they've carried in the past previously? Maybe the running back room is a little bit lighter. They've liked to carry 4 backs in the past. KC is going to have to get creative in that wide receiver room, Kyle, as they always have. And so far, obviously, the results have proved fruitful. So you got to trust what Brett Veach and Andy Reid are cooking up in that position.
You mentioned it already. They brought back Mecole Hardman this week. I'm curious, what do you think is going to be the benefit of bringing that experience back for a whole season this time, since they brought him back midseason from the Jets just last year?
Well, they need the familiarity in that room, Kyle. Like they've basically turned it over completely. MVS is somewhere else now. They need Rashee Rice obviously is dealing with his thing, and he was your wide receiver 1 last year to close out the back half of the playoffs, and how much of a safety blanket he offered Patrick Mahomes. Marquise Brown is coming over from Arizona and figures to be a big part as well, but he's new to the system. He has to understand kind of the complexities and how KC likes to communicate, where Pat likes to put the ball in certain windows. With Mecole Hardman, Kansas City brings back a known commodity. Andy Reid gave voice to that from the podium here on Friday. He believes, and the offense believes with Matt Nagy as well, that they get the best out of him. We saw when it was in New York, when the jet was in New York, it wasn't working all the way. It was faulty. You know, maybe it was a Boeing jet when he was in New York. In Kansas City, Mecole Hardman has been a successful player not only in that wide receiver room, but in special teams as well. And that's something that's factoring in to a lot of the roster decisions. Remember, there's a new kickoff rule, new return rule. Kansas City wants to be ahead of the curve and how they attack that. Maybe Mecole Hardman figures into that.
I remember back at the beginning of OTAs, Nick Bolton went to the podium and he talked about how the defense can't be satisfied with the success that they had last year because it's a whole new year and anything can happen, and it's not going to guarantee the same success this upcoming year. Do you feel like Steve Spagnuolo's group is kind of embracing that mindset so far in OTAs, making sure that they continue to take a step forward and not a step back?
They're going to have to, and it's tough to say that they're going to have to take even more of a further step, because last year, even Patrick Mahomes gave voice to them carrying the offense, defense and special teams, carrying the offense across the finish line multiple times throughout the year. Harrison Butker set a career high with 6 field goals made in one game as the offense sputtered to figure it out. Guys were lining up off sides, and it didn't look perfect. Defense now, the new challenge is replace L'Jarius Sneed, your all-pro, your all-world cornerback who got traded to Tennessee this offseason. Trent McDuffie, a young corner, is going to have to step into a bigger role. Some of the young guys that we didn't necessarily expect much from in years past with those 2 lockdown corners. I'm thinking of a Nazeeh Johnson, or I'm thinking of a Shamari Connor. Like, KC's going to need those defensive backs to shine into the spotlight now. L'Jarius Sneed was a guy you could put on the opposing team's best wide receiver. There's that play of him pushing Tyreek Hill down and slamming on his chest and saying, "I'm him." Who's him on the Chiefs defense side now? We know what Nick Bolton can offer. We know what Drue Tranquill can offer in that linebacker room. But as far as the defensive backs, it's going to be a new year and a new challenge for them, because best believe they have a target on their backs each and every game.
Well, mandatory minicamp is the next phase of the offseason. What are some of the things that you're going to be monitoring heading into this next phase?
Something that stood out for me in the OTA phase was Isaiah Pacheco. And this is a guy who we know runs violently, a guy who's one of the angriest runners in the National Football League. If you think back to last year, going from his rookie year to his second year, yes, he celebrated a Super Bowl victory. He celebrated it in a sling. He had a labrum surgery. It limited his offseason production, limited his ability to do all of the things, take all of the reps throughout the offseason with the rest of the roster. This year, he's completely healthy for this point of the year. He's able to go through. He's able to be the uno, the running back one, with the first teamers from OTAs, mandatory minicamp, to training camp. What does that mean for him? What does that mean for him taking that next step, being able to be healthy throughout the entirety of the season? Remember, they missed him at parts of the season down the stretch of the regular season last year. He looks a little bit leaner. He looks a little bit more athletic. And this is a team that's already talked about wanting to get the ball down the field more, wanting to be more explosive on offense. Can Isaiah Pacheco, a violent runner, also figure into their passing game? I want to see that in the next phase.
Well, Aaron, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, and we always appreciate your insight. I mean, enjoy a little bit of a break this summer before everything picks up with training camp.
Hey, it's not just Chiefs anymore. Those Royals, man, they're playing some ball. The boys are playing some ball as well. Maybe we get a little double dip here as summer picks up here in KC.
Absolutely. We love what we're seeing all over Kansas City right now. So thanks again, Aaron, for joining us, and for the rest of you guys, we'll be right back after this break.